Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial, Beta by Crashlytics. This will be a 2 or 3 part tutorial, basically taking you through this particular tool that you can use for app distribution. So let's get right into it. So I would like to start this tutorial with a particular scenario so you can see the importance of this tool. So I interacted a few months ago with a project manager, and she told me about how they distribute their APKs to stakeholders. So they told me that they would use Google Drive to distribute their APKs to the different stakeholders to test out their apps in the development phase. So I immediately realized some cons with this approach. Number one, this approach is not scalable because what you're doing is you're uploading. In this case, I'm the project manager, right? So the development team would send me the APK. I'd upload it to Google Drive and I'd distribute links. So just from the onset, you can see it's a bunch of links that you can send out, and this particular solution is not scalable. In case you needed to roll back to a different version of the app, it would mean looking for the links, and it just causes a whole lot of challenges in terms of the solution not being scalable. Second one, it's different to document and share your change log if you distribute your apps using Google Drive. It's also not a great testing experience because your users would have to remember each and every link. You send them a bunch of links, and you can actually end up probably losing links, installing the wrong version of the application. So it's not a great testing experience. And finally, if you're basically sending out your app using Google Drive, you're unable to track issues until your users report them to you. And that's not a great experience because if you've distributed your app, you need a way to monitor your application and be able to tell if there are any issues even before your users discover them or report them. So enter Beta by Crashlytics. So some of the benefits of this tool is that it provides a streamlined solution for distributing your applications, which means it's scalable. It gives you an effortless onboarding experience for your testers. It's a great testing experience because Beta basically is an application that users will install on their devices, and anytime you push out new updates to the APK that they're testing, it will notify them within their device. And then finally, it's integrated with Crashlytics. So basically, you'll have a pulse on your testers' activity because you can see all that in a dashboard and the issues that they experience. So if there are any bugs or if the app crashes, you can see all that on your dashboard, and it's pretty easy to detect any issues that you may experience. So we'll begin by setting up the application. This is the URL. So we'll just click Get Fabric. You'll fill in your details here: email, password, full name, organization. And then once you click Send Confirmation, all you need to do is check your email. So I'd already done that prior, and you'll see a button to confirm your email address. So once you click on that, it should open into the Fabric login. Let's just give it a second there to load. Right, so it has pre-filled this because I'd saved my credentials in my browser. I'll just sign in, and then it'll ask you which platform you're building for. So for this particular tutorial, we're building for Android. And this is, if you remember earlier when I was mentioning also product managers can use this. So if you're not the engineer, you can just click Manage Your Team. You can just set up the account and then put in the engineer's name and email, and it'll send them an invitation to set up Fabric for your particular project. But since the assumption here is that we're all coders, we'll just submit Android. So what you'll see here is the setup page. So it's basically the instructions on how to add the Fabric plugin into your IDE. So if you're using Android Studio, you'll just go to Android Studio, hit Preferences, browse repositories, and then install the Fabric plugin. And then once the IDE restarts, you should be able to see that particular icon right there. So I'll just switch over to my IDE. I've already installed it, as you can see. So there's the particular icon here, but where you'll go is Android Studio Preferences. You'll scroll down to Plugins. This is Android Studio 3.4. So this particular space might look a bit different. So for instance, there's now Marketplace, and all you can do is just say Fabric by Crashlytics. Search for it and you should find it. So in my particular case, I'd already installed it. So you'll just install, restart your IDE, and you should be able to see the Fabric icons in your IDE. So that being the case, you'll just click on it. At this point in time, I had already logged in. Yeah, so all you'll need to do is just add your email address and password, then click login, and it should bring you to a similar page. So once this is done, we'll scroll back here and click done. And then it says you have 3 steps to complete. So you'll need to add the SDK to your project, launch the app, and then configure application. So we'll switch back here, and we'll need to do the SDK setup for Crashlytics. So we'll click on that particular product. We'll need to specify that it's Android, and we'll want to install. So we want to add the following lines of code into our project. So you'll start by installing Crashlytics via Gradle. So we'll add the following to the build.gradle file. So we'll grab these, and they've made it simple actually. So you can just click to copy. So this is the first block of code that we'll add to our build.gradle file. So, and you need to note that it's the build.gradle file underneath your app module. So we'll start here. So I can see there's a build script, apply plugin. Here we go. All right, so let's give it a shot. So we'll start by pasting that in there. And then click to copy that. So put it after the Android plugin right there. Paste that in there. And then the final one is this, the transitive under the dependencies. So we'll put that right there. And then you'll need to add your Fabric API key. So as you can see, it's telling me to log in. So once you've logged in and you refresh this page, you will get your Fabric key, and you need to add the internet permissions. And this is actually your manifest file. So your manifest file should be right about, should be inside the application source main manifest. So you should add this particular permission. And then your key. So you just need to log in, add your key, and then yeah, there we go. So once that refreshes, I believe I can copy my key here, but you just copy this whole block of code, put it underneath the activity. So it's between activity and the application tag. There we go. And then we have the permission. Then finally you initialize your kit by putting this particular line of code in the activity that launches your application. So for instance, here you can see it's the main activity. Just one second. Yeah, the launcher is the main activity. And it's the same in our code. The launcher is the main activity. So that's the activity that we'll put in this particular block of code. So in the onCreate method, just before the set content view, where is it, set content, we'll put this in here. We'll need to make this imports. For now it's not highlighting because we haven't run the build, but we can just copy all this in, and then it'll import for us everything as needed. So we'll do that and sync. Yes, so this is a common warning. This will become obsolete at the end of 2018. So I believe this particular error points to some of the imports that we've done. So instead of using compile, we should use implementation. I think they haven't updated their documentation yet. So if we do implementation and then sync again, that particular warning should go away. There we go. Great. So we have successfully been able to install these. And part of this is build your project and see if everything works and then run. Once you're able to successfully add these lines of code into your particular file. So for instance, we're able to compose our build.gradle file to include Crashlytics, and then we're able to add our API key to the manifest file, and we're able to initialize our kit by adding this particular line of code in our main activity.java. What is left is for us to build and run the application. So what will happen is once we build and run this application, the Fabric Web application control panel will start to track crashes and general statistics. So what we'll do is we'll just run this, but we'll need to launch an emulator. So I'll just do that real quick. Or if you have a device that's currently running, you can also use that. So it should be the AVD manager. Let me look for a device that I can spin up real quick. Let's just go with that. Yes, I can see that's one of the connected devices. So I'll just hit run. It's already set up. Just give it some time. The build is running. Now it's installed the APK and launched the activity. There we go. So the application has launched, as you can see. And once we come back here, you can see everything has checked out. And it said that we're in. So once that is successful, we can actually click go to dashboard. So as you can see, we are in the dashboard right now. We don't have much data because we've just installed the application, and we shouldn't expect anything here. But our prime area of focus will be on beta. So as you can see here, there are no releases, there's no data because we haven't deployed any particular versions of our application. And that's what we'll do in the next tutorial. So upon successful integration of Crashlytics to your application, you will get an email from Fabric saying that your particular app has been added to your organization. So for instance, our app is called Beta Crashlytics, and it was added to the organization that I created before. And for more context, here is the application that I'm using, the Beta Crashlytics app. So I've been able to provide this for you. So feel free to download or clone this and follow along with the tutorial.